welcome to Fitness with Crystal. Today I'm going to show you a simple chair routine focused on flexibility and a little strength for the lower body and upper body using only body weight. So we won't be using any external resistance equipment such as TheraBands or hand weights. We're just going to use our own body weight as we move through various upper body and lower body movements. So to start off, I have a nice sturdy chair. Anything sturdy is going to do. Mine is a folding chair, which is perfect for this situation because it's lightweight. It easily folds and stores away when you're not using it, so it's great for small spaces. And then I'm going to have a seat on my sturdy chair. I want to start off by scooting my hips forward towards the front edge of my chair, and I'm going to separate my feet hips distance apart. Shoulders stacked right above the hips, arms down by my side. I'm going to scoot myself over so I don't bump into my mirror there. And I'm going to take a full deep breath in as I stretch my arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, float my arms down. Repeat that a few more times. And as I'm taking those nice full deep breaths in, my posture is nice and tall, chin parallel to the floor. I'm opening up my side waist as I take that full deep breath in, expanding the lungs, getting some nice oxygen into the body. One more time like this, and then relax those arms down by our sides. Let's do some shoulder movements. So we're going to roll those shoulders in the backwards direction. I want to make sure I'm rolling in all directions. So I'm going forward, up, back, and down. Nice, big, generous shoulder rolls. One more time in that backwards direction. And then we're going to switch and move those shoulder rolls forward. I'm going to move back, up, forward, and down as I roll my shoulders forward. Let's do two more in this forward direction. One more time. Good, and relax those arms down by our sides. Now let's lift those shoulders straight up towards the ears. And then release the shoulders down, create lots of space across the neck. Again, shoulders up to ears. And release those shoulders down, space in the neck. One last time, shoulders up to ears. And release those shoulders down. Now let's roll those shoulders forward. As I roll forward, I'm going to tuck my chin in towards the chest, gaze at my thighs, broaden through the back. And then I roll the shoulders back, open up and broaden through the chest, the collarbones. Good, maybe I'm going to lift my chin up towards the ceiling. And then release back to center, relax those arms back down. And then have a seat all the way back into your chair. Rest your hands onto your lap. We're going to move the stretching up into the neck area. So we're going to do some rotation, lateral flexion. We're going to start by taking that chin straight down to the chest. Gaze down at your thighs and your belly. Good. And lift that chin up towards the ceiling. Look up. Let's release it back to center. Turn and look over to the right, doing a little rotation. And let's turn and look over to the left. And let's bring it back to center. Let's do some side or lateral movement with the neck. That right ear is going to drop down to that right shoulder. I want to make sure I'm getting nice and spacious across that neck. That left shoulder is actively drawing down away from the ear. Breathe as you stretch. Lift that head back up to center. And let's go the other direction. I'm going to bring that left ear this time over to the left shoulder. Lateral flexion across that neck. Open up through that whole right side. Draw that right shoulder down. Breathe. And then bring that head back up to center. Let's bring our arms down by our sides. And we're going to take those arms out to the letter T. Open up and broaden through that chest. I want you to get nice and spacious, not only through the collarbones and the front of the shoulder, but also through the arms. You're opening up through the elbow, through the wrist. Expand. And then float those arms down. Let's open up the back this time. Interlace those hands in front of the chest. Those shoulders are drawing down away from the ears. Then I'm going to sweep my arms forward. Reach those knuckles towards the front wall. You're going to feel that whole back space start to open up, especially between those shoulder blades. I want you to hollow out that belly. Hug that belly button back towards the spine. Maybe you're going to tuck that chin. Gaze down at your thighs. Breathe as you're here. 3, 2, 1, and release it back to center. Really nice work, everybody. Okay, let's move on. We're going to make our way down the spine here. So I'm going to scoot forward again, back to the front edge of my chair, and I'm going to widen my stance back to parallel. So my feet are in line with the knees, which means I have a nice stack from heel to knee, and then those knees are in line with the hips. I'm gonna place my right hand on the seat of the chair like so, left arm down by my side, and I'm just gonna sweep my arm upwards. My palm is facing the midline of my body, which means my palm is turned inwards, and I'm nice and long and straight all through that whole left side. The goal initially right here is to get nice and upward. So I'm drawing those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Crown of the head is also lifting up towards the ceiling. My belly is hugging in towards the spine, so I have a nice soft squeeze across the belly. And then float that arm down. We're gonna repeat that, but we're gonna start to add a little lateral flexion across the spine if that feels good. So inhale, bring that left hand back up towards the sky. That arm and that ear are nice and close to each other. Keep that hip softened down onto the chair, and then maybe include a little side bend here through the side body. We're gonna breathe as we hold the stretch. 3, 2, and 1. Float that hand down, very nice. Let's switch sides, repeating that stretch over onto the right side. So hold onto the chair with that left hand. Right fingertips are drawing upwards. Grow tall here. Crown of the head reaching up, fingertips reaching up. Open up through that whole left side, right side body as you softly squeeze across the belly. Good, and float that hand down. Let's repeat again. We're gonna add on that side bend this time. So inhale, palm facing the midline. Slowly make your way over to the left. Very nice. Breathe as you're here. Make sure that right hip stays rooted down onto the chair. And then float that arm back down by your side. Let's heel toe those feet together. I'm gonna bring those knees to touch. That left hand is gonna hug all the way around the side body. And I'm gonna grab onto the outside of that right thigh. I'm gonna spiral my chest forward. So as I do that, you're gonna feel this downward stretch right across the side of that left arm. Breathe here, 3, 2, and 1, and then release that stretch. And let's repeat on the other side. This time that right hand is gonna grab the outside of that left thigh. And then I'm gonna sit up nice and tall, spiral that chest forward. Nice downward stretch all along the side of that arm. Breathe as you hold here. Very good, and let's release that arm. Let's widen that stance back out to hips distance apart. And then I'm gonna take my forearms. I'm gonna bring them down onto my thighs. So as I'm here, I'm in a flat back, and I'm gonna position myself sideways so you can kind of see what's going on here with my back. What I mean by flat back is I have no arching in either direction. I'm nice and flat. My belly is nice and firm. And as I hinge forward right here, I'm just trying to create a little space across that low back here. We're gonna be doing a lot of sitting. So if at any time you feel like you need to stretch out a little bit, you can always get into this position, even throughout the day if you notice that your back is getting tight while you're sitting. This is a great way to open up that space. And then we're gonna place those hands one at a time. So my right hand is going on the thigh first, left hand going on the thigh, and I'm using my arms to press back up into a tall seated position. So you'll notice here that as I'm scooted forward towards the front edge, I've got plenty of space right here between my hips and the back of the chair. And I've also got plenty of space here where the thighs are, so between the glute area and then the back of the knee. We're gonna stay in this forward seated position as we move those stretches down onto the thighs. We're gonna start with that right leg. Let's extend that right heel forward. And I'm gonna scoot back so you can see my legs as I start to stretch my legs forward. So we're gonna take that right heel and we're gonna press that heel down. Leg is straight, toes pointed up towards the ceiling. My belly is pulling back towards my spine, so I have a soft squeeze in that core. And I'm scooted forward towards the front edge of the chair so I can get that leg nice and long. Stack those hands and place them on the left thigh. Inhale. And then on your exhale, we're gonna lean forward, and you're using your arms to support the weight of your torso as you lean forward here so that you don't have any pressure going on that straight leg. And your back is also not loading here. Your arms are loading in this position. Pull those toes back. Ooh, did you feel that? As soon as you pull those toes back, you're gonna feel that calf, the bottom of that, the back of that lower leg start to stretch out a little deeper. Let's stay here. We're gonna breathe, hold for 10, 9, stick with it, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then use those hands, press yourself back up to a tall sit. Slowly bend that leg. Very good. Let's move on. Same stretch, just on the other side. So take that opposite heel forward. Toes are pointed straight up to the ceiling. You may already feel this stretch here, so I really want you to move very slowly as we start to progress and deepen these stretches, just so you can always assess and evaluate how you're feeling before you move on and deepen the stretch. So we're going to stack those hands. Place them on that right thigh. Again, I'm loading my arms, so as I hinge forward, my arms are bearing the weight of my torso as I lean forward. Those toes are pointed straight up towards the ceiling. I've got the ankle flexed so that we can include that calf in the stretch party. Let's breathe here, 10 seconds, 10, 9, 8, stick with it, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and use those arms, press back up. Very nice, and let's bring that leg back. That should already feel like you've opened up all of those muscles across the back of the leg. We're gonna bring the feet together. Those knees are gonna touch, and we're just gonna open and close those knees. What I'm trying to do here is create a little movement across the hips, going into external, internal rotation. These rotation movements are really healthy for those hips, and they also help to open up the inner thigh muscles. One more time like this. Good, and we're gonna heel toe back to hips distance, and we're gonna repeat the hamstring stretch on each side. So let's start by extending that right leg back out to straight. One more time. Toes are pulled up towards the ceiling. Stack the hands, and then we're gonna load those arms as we hinge forward in this stretch. If you're feeling super confident here, it's okay to maybe try to touch those toes. That's a great goal to have. 5 more seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if you can't touch the toe, don't worry. The more you practice this stretch, the easier it'll be to do that. Let's switch sides. Left leg forward, toes pointed up towards the ceiling. I'm stacking my hands, placing them on that right thigh. Hinge forward into the stretch. Again here, maybe you want to try to touch those toes. Breathe through the stretch. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1, and bring it back up to a tall sit. Very nice work. Bring those feet together. Let's do that. External, internal rotation. One more time. Just trying those knees out and in. Maybe you're getting a little ankle stretch as you're doing this. Good, and let's hold it here. Let's widen that stance back to hips distance. We're gonna open up the back of the thigh again, but move that stretch up towards the glute area. So we're gonna take both hands. I'm gonna grab around my right hamstring here. These arms are gonna be the ones doing the majority of the work. So as you lift that leg up, I want that belly to be tight, but I also want those arms to hold that leg up in place so your back doesn't do the effort here. And we're gonna roll that ankle nice and generously one direction. Big ankle circles. And let's go the other way, big ankle circles. Let's do some pointing and flexing here, moving in both directions. And we're gonna go side to side. Very good. Bring it back to that neutral position. Flex that ankle back, which means we're pointing the toes up to the sky. Maybe you can hold onto that shin. And if you're getting tired here, it's okay to bring that leg down. Rest as often as you need to. And then we're gonna bring that forehead to knee, roll up into a tiny ball. I'm rounding my back. I'm tucking my chin and I'm bringing that forehead and the knee closer together. It doesn't have to touch, just going close, you're breathing. And then slowly unroll, bring it back up to a tall sit. Okay, let's repeat that on the left side. Take those hands around that left thigh. Again, I'm using my arms, my belly is tight. I'm hugging that thigh to chest, and then roll that ankle generously one direction. Big ankle circles. Let's switch opposite direction. Point and flex that foot. And we're gonna hold that foot in the flex direction. Point that toe up to the sky. Hold onto the shin, maybe. Hug in a little tighter. And then we're gonna roll forehead to knee. Breathe as you do this. Make sure that belly stays nice and tight. And if you get tired at any point, you're gonna rest. And then release that leg down. Roll the spine back up to a stack. Very nice work. Let's bring the feet all the way in together. So there's 2 ways that you can do this. If you're a little tighter in the hips, you can just let those knees part any amount that they're gonna part. If you wanna go a little deeper into this stretch, I'm gonna get onto the outer blades of my feet. So I'm gonna take that right foot, get onto the outer blade, left foot, get onto the outer blade, and I'm just gonna inch the feet together so that the feet are touching just like so. And those knees are gonna fall out towards the sides a little more generously. You're gonna feel this stretch on the outer thigh, or the inner thigh, sorry, excuse me, and also in the groin area. And the further forward your hips are scooted, you wanna stay safe, so you don't want those hips to fall off the chair. You wanna be nice and supportive, but the further forward you are, the more of a stretch you can feel in the inner thighs. And we're just gonna stay here and breathe, maybe sweep those arms up, get those palms to touch, grow tall, and then float those arms down, help those knees back up to center. And we're gonna walk the feet out. I'm aligning my feet to the width of the legs of the chair, just so I can get my feet out a little wider than my hips are. And then I'm gonna get those knees to touch. If you can't get the knees to touch where you're at, maybe because you're a little tighter in the outer thighs, then go ahead and walk the feet together. It's very important that the knees touch so they're both supported. If you want to go out a little deeper, then you can walk onto the inner blades of the feet so that the soles of the feet are kind of pointed out towards the side walls here. Do whatever feels good. Less is more sometimes with stretching, especially in the very beginning stages of your, I'm going to call it a stretching career. So in the very beginning stages, it's really important that you're very mindful of moving slowly through those deepening stages. And then we're gonna take those arms down and we're gonna stretch those arms up towards the ceiling. Palms are gonna come in towards each other. Grow tall here, open through the sideways. Inhale, and then exhale, float those arms down. Help those knees out, and then heel toe the feet back together. Very nice, sit those hips all the way back in that chair. We're gonna do a different variation of that forward hinge. So when we did the last time, we were scooted forward, but this time my hips are all the way back. And I'm gonna rest my forearms across just like this. And then maybe I'm gonna drop my forehead down to the floor. I'm tucking my chin, I'm looking at my belly. And then press yourself back up. Hands on thighs, bring yourself back up to a tall sit. Okay, let's scoot forward again. Now we're gonna open across the front of the thigh and the hip flexors. This kind of crease right here in the front of the hip, that's called the hip flexor. I'm gonna turn my chair to the side again, just so you can see what my body looks like as we move into these stretches. So my hips are forward. I've got space right here between my hips and the backrest of the chair. And I'm gonna start with that right leg. That leg is nice and straight. So this looks very similar to that hamstring stretch setup, except for the toe will point down towards the floor. As I point that toe and try to press the ball of the foot down, I'm opening up that space right here across the front of the ankle. You'll feel the stretch in the top of the foot. And then we're gonna move that stretch up the thigh. So hold on to the seat of the chair nice and firmly. And then slowly start to lean towards the backrest of the chair. Remember, you're loading your arms and you're using your arms to not only change the momentum of how quickly you move back, so you're slowing, you're using some braking force with those arms. Good, you might feel that stretch move all the way up to that hip flexor. Keep that toe nice and pointed. Belly is firm. Good, and maybe those arms are gonna reach up towards the ceiling. Breathe here. Float the arms down. Use those hands, push down into the chair as you lean those shoulders up, and we're gonna switch sides. So let's take that opposite leg. Point that toe down towards the floor. Good, and we're going to lean those shoulders back. You're gonna feel that stretch move up from the front of the ankle into the top of the foot, into the quadricep, which is this muscle in front of the thigh, and then up to the hip flexor. Maybe those arms are gonna extend up towards the ceiling. I want you to breathe here. I want that belly to be firm. And most importantly, your chin is tucked and your gaze is forward so that you don't strain the back of the neck. And then we're gonna drop those arms down, press down into the chair to help your shoulders back up to stack, bend that knee. And we're going to move on from here. Okay, so let's do a little twisting. We're gonna rotate that spine side to side. If you know that twisting is something that you shouldn't be doing, or you just want to avoid that movement, that's okay. You can just skip this exercise, wait for us to get to the next one. So for this twist, my feet are hips distance apart. We're going to be very gentle with this. We're going to start by taking those arms over to the right side of the body. And then I'm going to tighten up my core. So I want to have a nice supportive structure across my abdominals to help support that rotational movement that we're going to do. So my belly is nice and tight. My neck and shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears. And then my chest is going to turn towards the right side of the room any amount. Keep that chin parallel to the floor, and your gaze, your head is going to look the same direction that your chest is facing. So everything is in alignment. Breathe here. And then untwist back to center. Let's repeat it on the other side. Take both hands over to the left side of your body. Make sure that those knees are forward. And then we're going to turn the chest. Good. Gaze towards that side of the room as well. Chin parallel to the floor. You're breathing. And bring it back to center. Relax those arms. And have a seat all the way back into your chair. And you can grab water and hydrate anytime that you want to. Okay, so now I'm seated all the way back. My feet are still hips distance apart, so you don't want the feet all the way touching, but separate them just a little bit. And I'm gonna sit back into my chair so I'm comfortable, but you don't want to lose that alignment. So I don't wanna lean all the way back like this. I still wanna have shoulders over the hips generally, and that belly nice and tight. And I'm gonna hold on to the seat of the chair just to remind me that I need to sit up tall. And then I'm gonna take that left leg, bring it out to a straight position. So you can see the bottom of my foot. I'm imagining a wall right here in front of me, and I'm pushing the bottom of my foot into that wall. You're squeezing the front of the thigh here. Good, and then slowly bring it down. Let's repeat that. Take it up, squeeze the front of that thigh, and drop it down. Let's do that 8 more times. Up and down. Exhale as you lift. Up and down. Up and down. Good, lift and lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. 5 more here. And 4. And 3. And 2. 1 more time. I think we may have done a little more than 8 on that side, so we'll try to even it up on this side and do the same amount. Give those legs a little shake, and we're going to repeat it on that left side. So we're holding on to the seat of the chair. Posture is nice and tall, belly to spine. Let's take that left leg out to straight. We're gonna hold it isometrically just to begin with, so there's no change in that angle in the knee. My leg is straight, my toes are pulled back. I'm pressing into that imaginary wall as I squeeze my thigh. Good, now let's go into that dynamic movement. We're going down and up. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you pick it back up to straight. Down and up, and my belly is tight. My posture is tall. There you go. And we're going to do 5 more here on this side. 5 and up. 4 and up. 3. Exhale. 2. Give me one more good one. Very nice. And release it down. Give those legs a little shake. Good work. Okay. So now let's take those arms down by our side. My palms are facing forward, and I'm going to give my elbows just a little bit of a bend on each side. I'm going to go up into a bicep curl movement and back down. Now, we're not using any external resistive devices here. So it's really important that as you're bending that elbow, that you're thinking about squeezing that muscle in the upper arm, the bicep muscle. We're going to put that together with that kick that we just did. So as I bend my elbows, I'm going to kick that right leg up and then simultaneously release it. So let's do that 8 times. Right leg, ready, and 1. Release. Exhale as you lift and bend those elbows. Release, and 3. Stay nice and strong through the whole thing, but if you get too tired, it's okay to rest. 5. 6. Squeeze those biceps nice and strong. Imagine that you're holding onto those weights. Give me 1 more. And relax it down. Let's switch sides. Let's do our last 8 kicks with those bicep curls. Ready? And 1. Release. Think about those bicep muscles as you bend those elbows. You're squeezing that quadricep muscle as you kick that leg to straight. We're halfway there. 4 more here. 3 more here. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. And release it down. Very nice work, everybody. Scoot those hips forward. Let's go into that stretch that we did, but instead of doing one leg at a time, we're gonna do both legs at a time. So we're extending those legs forward, pointing those toes, sitting those shoulders back onto the backrest of the chair. Maybe those arms are gonna extend up. I've got that core nice and tight, and as my legs are extended here in this position, I'm opening up through the quads and that hip flexor. And slowly float those arms down. Press yourselves up into a nice tall seated position. Okay, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna focus on those outer thighs and those inner thighs. So we're gonna take that right leg, we're gonna take a step out to the side. Notice how that heel and the knee stay in a stacked position. So I don't wanna step and then all of a sudden straighten my leg out like this. I wanna keep that knee bent at a 90-degree angle as I take that step out. And then as I bring those legs together, I'm thinking about those inner thigh muscles and I'm actively squeezing those thighs towards each other. Okay, so let's take those hands on the seat of the chair just to remind us of that posture. I'm scooted forward towards the front edge of my chair and I have my belly hugging in towards my spine. Ready? And let's step out with that right leg 8 times. Out and together. I want you to squeeze those inner thighs as you bring those knees together. We're on 4. And 5, and 6, and 7. One more time. 8. Pause it here. Switching sides. Ready, and out. Together. 2. Together. 3. Together. 4. Squeeze those thighs. 5. Almost there. 6. And 7. One more time. 8, and hold it here. Give me a full deep breath in. Stretch those arms up. Exhale, float it down. Let's stretch out those inner thighs by drawing those knees out to the side wall. Bring those arms down. Give me a full deep breath in here. Exhale, float it down. Help those knees back up. And we're gonna repeat that movement, but we're gonna add on. So let's practice the upper body movement while we're here. Go ahead and separate those feet, hips distance apart. And we're gonna take those elbows out to the side. I call this goalpost arms. It kind of looks like a football goalpost, except our elbows are dropped down a little bit lower. Neck and shoulders relax down away from the ears. I'm gonna bring those elbows and those forearms in towards the midline of my body, but I have a little space between them. So I'm not going all the way together. I'm just going in, maybe they're 2 or 3 inches apart from each other. If you can go all the way together, if that doesn't bother your shoulders, then you can go ahead and squeeze those forearms and elbows together. And then bring it back out to that goalpost. Let's do that 10 times. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And again, you don't have to bring those forearms and those elbows together. They can have a little space between them. 5 and 6. And there's resistance in both directions as I'm coming in and as I'm coming out to the side. Good, one more time. And let's slowly relax those arms. Roll those shoulders back. Roll those shoulders forward. Let's take those arms out to a T, my modified T, because I don't have a lot of space here. I'm kind of backed up into a corner, so I'm gonna stay in my goalpost arms as I stretch my chest. And then I'm going to interlace my hands in front of my chest, open up through that back body by reaching those knuckles forward, C-curving the spine, hugging that belly button back towards the spine. And then unroll, sit back up to a nice tall seated position. Let's bring those feet back to together. So my feet are touching, my knees are touching, and I'm going to put that together with my arms. My elbows are bent, and then I'm going to take them out to the side in goalpost. Good. So we're going to work in opposite directions. As that leg moves out, those arms move in. So we're kind of doing a little coordination here as well. Ready? Let's do 8 times on that right side. 1, 2, 3. And if you mess up, it's okay. That's part of learning. If we don't mess up, we don't learn. 1 more time. And relax those arms down. Very good. Okay, we're going to do our last 8 and then we're done. Ready? Arms out to the side in goalposts. Ready? And step out with that left. 1, out, 2, breathing. 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Give me 2 more good ones. 7, last one. 8, and pause it here. Relax those arms down. Roll those shoulders back. Go ahead and separate those feet, hips distance apart. Roll the shoulders the other direction. Good, and we're gonna walk the feet all the way together. Open up those knees to the side. And you wanna feel that stretch through the inner thighs. Help those knees up and walk the feet out to the width of the legs of the chair. And we're gonna tent those knees in. Very nice work. And bring those feet together. Let's take those arms out to the goal pose. So if you can stretch all the way out to a T, great. We're just gonna stretch that chest. And then take those hands forward, interlacing in front of the body. Reach and round. Tuck that chin in towards the chest. And slowly unroll that spine. Let's finish up here with 2 full deep breaths. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, float the arms down. One more time like that. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, float down, and you are done. Nice work, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.